You don't need more motivation, you need a transformation of the mind. That's where everything begins. Most people think their problem is money, or time, or connections. But the real problem is the way they think about those things. If your mindset doesn't shift, your income won't shift. Your life won't shift, because no matter how much effort you put into the outside, if your internal programming is faulty, you'll always sabotage the result. See, your mind is like soil. It doesn't care what you plant, it will grow whatever seed you give it. Plant fear, it grows limitation. Plant vision, it grows legacy. The key is that the mindset must match the mission. You cannot build a 6-figure or 7-figure life with a minimum wage mindset. You cannot create transformation in others if you are still holding on to trauma, excuses, and limitations within yourself. Most people are living by default instead of by design. They wake up and react instead of create. They allow circumstance to lead instead of vision to govern. They want change, but they resist challenge. Why? Because their identity is still rooted in the old version of themselves. You can't walk into your future if your mind is still stuck in your past. This is why the next 21 minutes matter so much. If you pause long enough to hear the truth, to face the patterns that keep you stuck, and to decide that you're no longer going to live on autopilot, then real change can begin. Because when the mind is renewed, the mission becomes clear. And when the mission is clear, momentum becomes unstoppable. The difference between a millionaire and someone struggling isn't intelligence, it's perspective. One sees opportunity, the other sees obstacles. One asks, how can I create this? The other says, I can't afford that. Same situation, different mindset. And over time, those tiny internal shifts create drastically different realities. So, if you want to change your life, don't start with the bank account, the calendar, or the network. Start with the mindset. Because when you think at a higher level, you act at a higher level, and the results will rise to meet you. Every breakthrough starts in the mind. And this, right now, is your moment to shift. Waiting for the perfect moment is the lie that keeps most people broke, stuck, and frustrated. You tell yourself you're preparing, but the truth is, you're procrastinating. You say you're waiting on God, but often, God is waiting on you. He already gave you the vision. He already gave you the gift. He already gave you the conviction. What are you still waiting for? Delay is not just a time issue, it's a trust issue. Every time you postpone the action you know you're supposed to take, you're saying, I don't trust the process. I don't trust the call. I don't trust myself. But worse than that, you're choosing comfort over calling. Disobedience doesn't always look like rebellion. Sometimes it looks like excuses dressed up as wisdom. We say things like, when the timing is right, I'll start the business. When I get my confidence up, I'll speak. When the money comes in, I'll invest. But faith doesn't wait for the stars to align. Faith moves before it makes sense. You're not supposed to walk when the path is clear, you're supposed to walk so the path becomes clear. If you're waiting to feel ready, you'll never move. Readiness is a byproduct of obedience, not a prerequisite. The truth is, most of the things you're praying for are already available to you. They're just locked behind a door called action. You can't drive a parked car. You can't harvest what you haven't planted. And you can't step into the next level of your life if you're still negotiating with fear. What if the next 21 minutes held the moment that shifts your trajectory? What if one email, one video, one bold offer, launched now, not later, could change your family tree forever? But you'll never know, because you keep rehearsing reasons instead of embracing responsibility. This isn't about hustle, this is about obedience. And obedience has a deadline. Opportunity doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It rewards those who move in faith, not in fear. So stop postponing your purpose. Stop waiting for the calendar to agree with your calling. Move now, and let your momentum make the miracle happen. Because what you don't start today, you'll regret tomorrow. And your future deserves better than your delay. You don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. That's a hard truth, but it's also a freeing one. If your life keeps producing results you don't like, it's not because the universe is unfair or because God is holding something back from you. It's because you're operating at a level that's aligned with the results you're currently getting. Want different results? You must become a different version of you. People try to manipulate outcomes by changing strategies, environments, and even relationships. But strategy without identity alignment is just surface-level change. You can copy someone's funnel, someone's script, someone's business model, but if your beliefs don't match the blueprint, it won't work for you. Why? Because everything in life responds to energy, and your energy is rooted in your identity. If deep down, you believe you're not worthy of wealth, you'll sabotage every opportunity for abundance. If you believe people won't pay you, you'll underprice yourself, not because they can't afford it, but because you can't accept it. The limit isn't in the market. The limit is in the mirror. This is why mindset work isn't optional, it's essential. Not just motivation, not just hype, real, internal rewiring. Because money, clients, influence, all of that comes as a response to who you become. You don't need to chase success. You need to become someone who naturally attracts it. When you shift your self-image, your results will catch up. That means the work starts on the inside. It means changing your language. Stop saying, I hope, and start saying, I decide. It means changing your standards. Stop settling for survival and start expecting overflow. It means upgrading your thoughts, because your thoughts create emotions, your emotions drive actions, and your actions create outcomes. It's a chain reaction, and the root is always you. If you want to raise your income, raise your internal value. If you want better clients, become a better leader. If you want influence, build integrity. Life is a mirror, not a menu. You don't get to order what you want without first becoming the version of yourself who can handle it. So ask yourself, am I becoming the person my vision requires? Because until you do, you'll keep repeating cycles. But the moment you shift your identity, everything else begins to rise with it. Action is the antidote to anxiety. You attract who you are. The longer you sit in hesitation, that's a hard truth, the louder fear becomes. But it's also a freeing one. Overthinking is the enemy of producing results you don't like. It convinces you that worst-case scenarios are unfair or because God is holding something back from you. But in reality, most of what you fear is only at a level that's aligned with the results. It has no power until you give it permission. Want different results? And the way you take your power back is through a different version of you. You don't need to have it all figured out to manipulate outcomes by changing strategies, you just need to move. Environments, and even relationships. Action builds strategy without identity alignment is just surface level change. I'm waiting until I feel ready. Someone's funnel, readiness is not a feeling, someone's business model. You get ready by moving, not by thinking about moving you. Your confidence won't come because everything in life responds to energy, as a result and your energy is rooted in your identity. Even in fear, if deep down you believe you're not worthy of wealth, you break the cycle of sabotage every opportunity for abundance. You stop feeding doubt and start feeding people won't pay you. And with every step you take, not because they can't afford it, but because you can't accept it. Paralyzing yesterday becomes irrelevant. The limit isn't in the market, simply the limit is in the mirror. This is why mindset work isn't optional. The thing you're avoiding is the exact thing that will unlock your next level, not just hype. That conversation you won't have. Internal rewiring. It's tied to money, clients, that offer you're afraid to make. All of that comes as a response to your overcome. That message you've been holding back. Success. It's tied to someone else, someone who naturally attracts it. But you're too busy overanalyzing to realize that your next blessing is connected to your next bold move. That means the work starts on the inside. You don't overcome fear by arguing changing your language. You overcome fear by outpacing it. And start momentum is more powerful than motivation. It means changing your standards. Feel inspired. Stop settling for survival and start expecting overflow. You'll gain something more valuable than motivation because your thoughts create emotions. So your emotions drive you in the next 21 minutes. Create outcomes. Not someday. It's a chain when you're in a better mood. And the root is always not when you've had your coffee. If you want to raise your income, raise your internal value. Decision, one conversation, if you want better clients, one offer, become a better leader. Says, I may not feel ready, but I'm willing to grow as I go. Life is a mirror. Because when you move in faith, you don't get to order what you want without first becoming the version of yourself, and the anxiety loses its grip. So action doesn't just change your situation. Am I becoming the person my vision requires? Your identity. Because until you do, you'll keep repeating cycles. But the moment you shift your identity, everything else begins to rise with it. Your voice is more than sound, it's a vessel, a container for your experience, your revelation, and your solution. And the world doesn't need more noise. It needs your voice, filled with conviction, purpose, and clarity. People aren't just buying products or services anymore, they're investing in the energy, belief, and certainty behind the person delivering the message. That means the most valuable thing you can bring to the marketplace isn't just your skill set, it's your story. Too many people silence themselves because they think they're not qualified yet. They think, who am I to teach, to coach, to lead? But your authority doesn't come from perfection, it comes from survival. From scars turned into strategy. From pain turned into purpose. From the lessons you've lived through, not the books you've read. Your voice carries weight when you own your journey. Not just the highlight reel, the real reel. The struggles, the doubts, the breakthroughs. When you speak from that place, people don't just hear you, they feel you. And in a noisy world, feeling is currency. Understand this, Someone is waiting to be set free by the truth you're still afraid to speak. The problem is not your voice, it's your volume. You've been whispering your message when the world needs you to roar. You've been packaging your purpose to fit in someone else's comfort zone. But your story was never meant to fit, it was meant to shift atmospheres. The most powerful entrepreneurs, leaders, and changemakers aren't always the most polished, they're the most authentic. They lead with heart, they speak from fire, and they're unapologetic about the value they bring, because they know the assignment isn't about their ego, it's about impact. If you don't own your voice, someone else will narrate your story, and they'll tell it wrong. Don't let silence steal your influence. Your voice is the bridge between someone's confusion and clarity, between their pain and progress. But only if you use it. So speak, share, sell, teach, lead, not because you're trying to impress, but because you're here to impact. Your voice isn't optional, it's essential. And the moment you unleash it with boldness and belief, everything begins to change. What if your next act of obedience wasn't just for you, but for someone else's breakthrough? What if your decision to rise, to speak, to build, was the very thing someone else needed to see in order to believe it was possible for them too? You see, your life is not isolated. It's connected. Your obedience has a ripple effect, and your inaction has a consequence that reaches beyond your own circle. We live in a world where people are praying for answers, for direction, for hope, and those answers are often hidden inside you. Your story, your offer, your wisdom, your gift. But if you stay silent, if you stay afraid, if you keep putting it off until you feel more ready, you may be withholding someone else's freedom. That idea you keep second-guessing, someone's been searching for it. That message you haven't shared, someone needs to hear it before they quit. That business you've been delaying, someone is waiting to be hired, served, or healed by it. This is bigger than just income. It's about impact. It's not just about reaching your goals. It's about becoming the answer to someone else's prayer. When you step into your calling, when you move in alignment with your purpose, others get permission to do the same. You normalize breakthrough, you make it visible, and that visibility births possibility for someone else. That's why you can't afford to keep playing small. Because every day you delay, someone else stays stuck. Every time you hide, someone else loses hope. And every time you diminish your gift, someone else goes without the solution you were born to provide. You weren't given vision just to admire it, you were given vision to act on it. You weren't given talent just to profit, you were given talent to serve. And in the next 21 minutes, you have a choice. Continue to operate in fear, or move forward in purpose and become a chain breaker for someone else. Because obedience isn't just personal, it's generational. It's communal, it's catalytic. When you rise, others rise. When you move, you make room. And when you obey, you become the light someone else was praying to find in the dark.